Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa Robbins from DeeZinesByD and I'm so happy that you've joined me for today's video. I'm going to be making another Make the Cards challenge card today, and this is for challenge number 35. Now this post is a theme plus one challenge, and the challenge this week is country plus buffalo plaid. So I've explained this in my blog, and I'm not one to have a lot of country craft supplies in my stash, so I decided to focus my card on the buffalo plaid, which I do have. So I do encourage you to head on over to www.makethecardschallenge.com, take a look at all of the designers' posts, get inspired, and link up your project for this week's challenge. Now let's go ahead and get into this card. Now, I've just discovered this Altenew Galactic Stream ink. It's been out for so long and I've had it for so long, but I've never realized what a nice color it actually makes. So it's going to be the main color for my card today, and I've decided to create my own cardstock. So I did this in a past video and many times before. It's pretty simple. You just take a white piece of cardstock, and I've got a scrap piece of paper in the back there, and I'm just applying my ink to the cardstock. Now, as you can see, I'm showing you that the color, when it dries, it evens out and it makes a really nice turquoise color. So this is the background stamp that I'm going to be using. It's from Concord and Ninth, and it's their plaid background stamp. So as you can see, it has that buffalo plaid, and then it also has a double line stamp as well to create the actual, full-on plaid. But I'm just going to focus on the buffalo plaid for today. Now for my focal point, I decided to use the Simon Says stamped etched Laurel leaves, which I have here. I actually haven't had a chance to use these before, so I'm clipping them apart with my clippers there. And you end up with a nice big laurel and then a nice small one. Creates a nice a nice focal point. So I'm going to be using the Sizzix Opulent charcoal cardstock for the large laurel, and then I'll be using the Die Cuts with a View turquoise glitter cardstock for the small laurel. I'll be using these again inside the card, and I'll be using that charcoal cardstock again along with some Sizzix Opulent silver cardstock. So I just cut this out simply on my table with my Sizzix Sidekick because they are small enough to fit through, and these are the little detailed glittery elements that you get. So now for my background, I'm going to be using VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. This is a nice ink to use on a background stamp because it's a pigment ink. So it's going to make a nice impression or a nice stamped image. And even with that in mind, I'm still using my stamp positioner. So for detailed background stamps or any detail stamps in general, I suggest using a stamp positioner like the Misty or the Tonic Tim Holtz stamp positioner, because you are probably going to have to stamp it more than once, and you don't want to end up ruining your project and having to start from scratch. So I missed some spots, so I'm stamping that up again, and I'm just going to add more pressure in the areas in which I saw the image was broken up. So that's mainly the center here. I'm just using my towel to kind of press down and add pressure with my hand, but I've seen people use even dry erasers to do this. So anyways, I'm going to add my sentiment here. I'm using the Spellbinders Scalloped Rectangle Glimmer Essentials with Sentiments set. This was a Glimmer Kit of the Month. And I'm just using the thanks. You can see it stamped out very nicely with silver foil on that turquoise. Looks really nice. And I'm showing you here the Spellbinders Quick Trimmer. So it comes with two little blades. One is for foil and one is for paper. And I'm going to use it to do my foiling of the Spellbinders Essential Glimmer rectangles. So I'm using the largest rectangle, and I'm actually going to use a new piece of foil. So for my sentiment, I used like a scrap piece. That's why I didn't show you how I cut it. But here I wanted to show you that this comes in handy, especially for these larger the larger plates, glimmer plates. Because you are cutting a large piece of foil, I find that sometimes it can be finicky. You end up kind of scratching the surface of the foil, and then you get incomplete foiling and stuff like that. So I really do like using this trimmer. And I do want to mention, you don't have to use it with that clear top plate. You could just use it freehand on top of that gray board if you wanted to as well. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the process down and how to use it and figure out ways to use it that works best for you, it really does come in handy, and it saves you a lot of money in ruining your foil and stuff when you're trying to cut it out. So I will do the foiling off screen, and once complete, this is the result that you get. Now, I do have to mention it's very subtle, but to me, that makes such a huge difference on the card background. It seems like something you could just forget and you don't really have to do, but I think that these little details make a big difference. And I'm showing you here that I have all this extra foil that I haven't used. I'm not throwing that piece away. What I do is I keep this little box and I keep all my little scraps in there, so when I'm doing foiling, I just kind of look through there to find what I need. If I need a bigger piece, I cut that out. Otherwise, those little scraps come in handy. So now I'm attaching this little thanks panel. I mounted it on some silver cardstock there to create a little bit of a border on the top and bottom. And then I attached it with some foam squares, and I'm cutting off the little edges overhanging on the sides there. So that sentiment strip is complete. And now I'm going to add my focal points, which are those little laurels. So I'm adding some foam squares on the top and bottom. And then on the portion that's going to cover the sentiment strip, I'm just adding glue because it already has dimension with the foam underneath the strip. So I'm going to add an acrylic block on top of this to kind of help it stick this down afterwards. But before that, I'll put the little turquoise leaf on. And you see, this just helps press down those little dies, especially when you're using foam tape. It just gets all the little areas that you can't get with your hand. So now for the inside of the card, I'm going to take little strips of that turquoise cardstock, that Galactic stream colored cardstock that I made, and I'm just going to add this to the inside for a bit of interest. It adds like a little bit of, just adds a little bit more detail to the inside of your card, but it also helps you move that design from the front of the card and carry it into the inside. So this is why I like making extra pieces. You can see that piece of Galactic stream cardstock that I made in the beginning was big. I didn't need it that big, but I knew I wanted to use extra pieces within the card and on the inside of the card. So I decided to make more. It never hurts to have more. You can always save extras for a different project. So these little strips came in handy. Now you can see here I only added a strip on the side of the inside of the card, and later on I'm going to add one on the bottom because I felt like it wasn't enough. But those laurels there again carry on the design from the front onto the inside. And now I'm using this Altenew Say It With Love stamp set. I haven't really gotten to use this thank you sentiment before, so I'm excited to use it here. And I'm using this masking stamping technique that I tend to use a lot for these little sentiments. And I'm stamping out the printed type in black VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And then I'm going to mask that printed area like so. And I'm leaving open the stamped part that's in writing or handwritten type. And I'm going to stamp that out with some of the Galactic Stream ink. Again, this is matching the ink color from the front and that little strip on the side to the rest of the card. And I actually ended up stamping this twice. I'm not going to show you that here, but that's how I got the nice crisp image that I got in this sentiment. So here's the little bit on the bottom. And I'm going to add that in there to just add a little bit more interest in that corner of the card. And I think this just kind of finished it off nicely for me on the inside. So here's a little tip that I want to show you. I've shown you this in other videos, but in case you missed it, I wanted to show you this here again because I have some room in my video. And I use two types of tape to adhere my card panel front. So I have double-sided strong adhesive on two sides of the panel, and then I add dot runner in the center. I leave the little backings on the double-sided tape, and I just put on my panel using only the dot runner as my adhesive at this point. This allows me to jiggle it around and get it into the spot that I want. And then once I'm happy, I basically pull in between the two pieces and take off that backing. And that permanently adheres that front card panel to the card. And that's how I get it lined up just so I don't have to do any extra cutting. So finally, I'm going to turn to my Pinkfresh Studio Jewel Mix, and I picked out this brown color, which is really nice because I think it adds a little bit of that rustic feel to the card that you kind of get in country cards or country living type of themes. So this was my little bit of country. So my little brown embellishments, but the rest of it is pretty much just buffalo plaid. And I hope that you do like my design here today. I think it's very simple. It's pretty elegant and easy to do, and you could use many different colors to get different looks. So this is probably more of a masculine look, but turquoise works for feminine as well. If you wanted to make it more obviously feminine, you could use a pink or a purple, and you could even just add some red or green and make this a Christmas card. Maybe add some jingle bells or some hollies here and there, and it is so versatile, this design, that you could use it for anything. So that's my final card with the little jewels there. I'll just give you a final look at it as I show you it completely done and all dried. So this is the nice front. It has a bit of dimension, and then on the inside I carry that design with a little sentiment. So that is my elegant buffalo plaid card for you today. I do encourage you to head on over to the Make the Cards Challenge blog and post up your creations. Take a look at the other designers' creations. They've put a lot of hard work into this, and I'm sure you can get more of a country feel from what they've created compared to mine. I hope you've liked my video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. I also have a video I'm going to leave you with here, along with a playlist and my subscribe button. And if you get a chance, please check out my blog, because there's a bunch more inspiration up there, and I definitely think that you will find something you like. So I hope you all have a great day, and don't forget to join the challenge. Bye.